So, it's been a long time. But we're getting...
You have become a vegetarian,
Well,
and we've got a new table.
But we're getting from there to here.
No time has passed at all then.
This new table,
Our clothes have changed colour.
my snazzy haircut that I haven't...
It's just taking Tom a long time to update the channel, that's all.
But, yes, yeah. So, my top game,
Number one.
my number one game of all my time
What is it?
is...
It should make a great. It should be such a great
reveal, just...
mid-game
Turnaround.
turnaround.
It's Carcassonne!
Specifically,
Well, specifically the original version of Carcassonne. But I have to say this based on the fact that I have only played this and that and Gold Rush.
liar. You've
Yeah.
played South Seas as
Played
well.
I have
South
played
Seas.
South Seas, but
Yeah.
I'll talk about South Seas later. But the reason that I absolutely love this game is that it's...
How do you play?
Well, how do you play? Okay, well, it's a very simple tile laying game.
60 seconds, go.
It's a very simple tile laying game. Everybody has a different coloured meeple. You will place down your tiles onto the map. They'll be done in a certain way that they have to make sense. So grass to wall and grass to city, to cities and to roads and rivers and all that kind of
A
thing.
to A, B to B.
Yeah. You will then place down your meeples and they'll score in different ways. So you'll have people that score on the roads for the length of them. You'll have people that score in the castles based on the size of them as well. You'll have people that score in monasteries, which are built around, and then you'll have people that score in fields and stuff that feed cities and things like that. It's ridiculously uncomplicated, very, very easy to get into, and it takes almost no time to play. Probably plays in about 45 minutes at its maximum.
Yeah.
Depending on if you're going to like house roll a couple of things here. And
We've still got 15 seconds. Teach some rules. 10 seconds.
Farmers are optional at the beginning. There you go.
That's more like a hat, yeah.
But yeah, so I should probably just say it plays between 2 and 5 players as well. There you go. Right, but the reason that I really like Carcassonne is that as I started to say before, it's just ridiculously simple and easy to play. Like there is so little to teaching someone how to play Carcassonne at the very outset. You just say, right, these match here, these set down here. You've got to place your meeples on to score points. Like it is a veritable.
Yeah. It's not splendor complicated.
That is a technical game. But yeah, so and you can get anybody into playing it, which is just a fantastic thing for me because it's one of those really nice board games that fills that niche of a proper gateway towards something. A really nice gateway that you want to walk through. Another point that I really like about it as well is it's one of those games that by the very end of the game, you've either learned something about how you should play, going into future games, and it also looks amazing once it's finished as well.
Yeah.
So it's one of those games that is. I mean, it'll always have certain variations of how things go together because most games will and stuff. But Carcassonne just always looks crazy every time you do it, and it looks fantastic. You've got the really nice cities laying out. You've got the road networks. And
There's a near infinite.
yeah.
Like, no two Carcassonnes
Well,
are going to
really,
look the
no.
same. I can't
Yeah.
even begin to consider the.
And
Yeah.
and every time you play it, I mean, there is no reason why the game should do this, but it almost tries to inform a little bit of the narrative when you're playing it, which is weird. Like, you'll have the guy that is building the road off into nowhere, and you'll have the guy that's like really trying to get like their city built, and then someone keeps expanding it, and then you start making jokes about like why it's not doing what it's doing and stuff and things. And you get a nice little bit of a rivalry sometimes as well, which is always fun.
It does have that very pleasant thing that you do tend to get more from a European, I suppose, sort of game, which is that at the end you've built something.
Yes.
Like in Ticket to Ride, you win, you lose, whatever. You can still look at the board and go,
So
"Oh, there's
that's
my
really
train."
cool.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Yeah.
You know, and likewise with the whole score aspect. Like, yes, people will score more than you, but you can still say, oh, there's how I did.
Yeah.
You have like a quantifiable how I did rather than
Well, I also think as well, by the very nature of the game being one of those where you pick a tile and decide where it goes, means that if something's not working as you begin the game, you can completely change how you're going to play it in order to try and score more points in a different way. And the game doesn't punish you for doing that, because there are games out there, there are plenty of games out there where you can go down a path tactically, and then at some point you're like, well, this isn't working, I'm pretty much done now. Whereas I think Carcassonne, because of its just simplicity, allows you to be like, right, okay, so maybe building this town's not working, I'll try and get some points out of the road and stuff like that.
On the one hand, Carcassonne is you could see Carcassonne as pure tactics.
Yeah.
But and that's how we often teach the game because we leave out the farmers. But you put the farmers in, and that's where the strategy and like the meat of the game.
Because that's that sort of
Yeah.
end game. You've got to think about the factor of where the farmers are coming in and how to balance
that's-
that. So
Really, you'd almost have to say that's the skill.
yeah.
Really, isn't it? Like
Well, this all brings on to a different, an interesting point that I think we differ on anyway, and that's that I enjoy teaching Carcassonne at least to new players, and to a degree actually with most people that the people that I play this most with are probably you and Claire, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Really, and we normally play it in a spirit of, oh, we'll help out a little bit here, or we'll mention like, hey, you could probably build that there, or
Yeah,
something like that, or
it always feels like there is a best move,
yeah.
and like if someone is between two ideas, like I could put it here, I could put it here.
You could go, oh,
Like,
actually,
well,
do this.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, actually putting it there is better for you. Like,
And I think the
it
game
screws
doesn't
me over, but
suffer
do it.
too much
No.
because of that.
you said like as a teaching thing. Obviously, as a teaching thing, it's fine.
Yeah.
But for me, you guys are sitting together and doing a jigsaw at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you're sort of cooperatively doing it, and that's fine. People love doing jigsaws, and it's like a jigsaw with a winner. Okay? It's a jigsaw that's different every time you put it together. It's a jigsaw where you don't know what the next piece is going to be, but that for me is a massive turn off.
I don't think that it's less. I think it's obviously less tactical, but I don't think it's too less tactical at that point, because I still think that when we play it, even with people that have played it for a really long time, they still make decisions knowing that it's going to screw someone over.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
opponent, but the other player doesn't feel that hard done by when it comes to Carcassonne.
Yeah.
Whereas in other games they might do.
I mean,
And
I mean,
so-
I almost see it as like you're still learning as you're playing it, because we're not Carcassonne masters. You know, so you might be like, well, I could put, I'll put this down here. I mean, oh, actually, dude, you probably could have put it there and got more points. I don't mind if you do that,
but we're not masters of like hardly
No,
any
no,
game. But
no,
I think the
but-
difference in Carcassonne is it's all open information. Like if you look at, like we've already mentioned, Ticket to Ride. You don't know the train cards I've got in my hand.
Yeah.
You don't know the routes I've got.
No.
So Ticket to Ride will always be, cannot have that like semi co-op, for lack of a better term, like reduced competitive.
Because you can't put
No,
out
you
the
can't,
best
yeah.
routes.
So you can't have a group think in Ticket to
Yeah.
Ride. The closest thing you can say is, oh well, dude, you know, you should blind pick before you whatever. You know, like there's, and that makes Ticket to Ride like Ticket to Ride is a much more tense game.
Yeah.
And I would, having said that, like I enjoy Carcassonne and Ticket to Ride in similar degrees, but that is me playing Carcassonne properly. Like I've played Cutthroat Carcassonne a few times, and it's great. Like it's but I feel like if you look at games, and we actually put Carcassonne on the same shelf over there with them, you look at games like Cacao and Isle of Skye, and I feel like they've been made, like the other Carcassonnes have been made with this Carcassonne feel in mind, and Cacao and Isle of Skye and other games like that have been made as leveled up Carcassonne. More complex, more competitive. You know, like you could never play Isle of Skye in that semi-cooperative nature.
You could after someone had picked their tile.
I see,
and you could be like, why you shouldn't put it over there with that map. You should
But
put
it's
it
the
over there.
price.
Yeah.
The pricing is everything.
Yeah. That side of things is, but the actual placement of the tile, I
You
still
could still help
still feel
someone.
we play that very like. Oh, actually, dude, if you put it there, it's just way better. 'Cause it completes this as a 2x2.
Yeah.
You're gonna get this
But
still
maybe that's
like.
just because we're playing it. We haven't
But-
played it as much as other games.
But then because of the money and everything else, there is closed information in that game. Like Cacao,
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
3 tiles, which is a variant that people play with Carcassonne and would change Carcassonne completely. Because if you had 3 tiles to pick from, then when you're giving me advice, you can't see what my other tiles are. So therefore, that mitigates that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's
Yeah.
not the rules as written.
No.
So
But I still think, well, for me anyway, when I play Carcassonne and Isle of Skye, I've only played Cacao the once, so I can't really comment on that. But when I play those, I still play it very much in, I want to win this game, but hey, if there's a better move for you, then of course I'm probably going to show you, just because, like, why wouldn't you do that better move? You're only doing it because, well, 9 times out of 10, you haven't seen it. So hey, I'll show you this better move to get you more points. And in the future, hopefully our games will be closer.
Yeah,
Like,
but at the same time, again, in Carcassonne, points are just good.
yeah.
In Isle of Skye, it's actually not even as black and white as that.
No, it isn't.
You know what I mean?
No,
Which again makes it like, and there are more factors to consider. I like Carcassonne. I do. I just.
Well, that brings me on to what like if I was going to play Carcassonne now, while I do really enjoy the basic version of it, I'd still probably play Gold Rush.
Why?
Because I think the Gold Rush adds like another extra dimension to it, and I think it plays around with the format a little bit more, in the sense that it still retains what it means to be a Carcassonne game, but it doesn't depart from it too much. Like, for example, the way that the farmers...
Well, there's no farmers.
the way that farmers score in Gold Rush is that TPs are
TPs and horses.
horses are 4. So there's a difference already built in there about where farmers go. So you've got to think about that in a different tactical level.
Yeah. Well,
I think farmers are far simpler decision in Gold Rush. Like in original Carcassonne, that's one of the aspects again where the semi-cooperative nature falls down on it. If you're playing with farmers, like a good early farmer is not like oh dude, you should put down a farmer there. Like,
no, but that still happens in Gold Rush. It's just not affected by the settlement as much as it is the actual layout of the board as a whole. And then the other thing that I really like about it is the way in which the gold mining aspect of it works, because it adds another way to gain points.
That's the closed information side of things as well.
And it also gives you that interesting sort of tactical, sort of more, I guess you'd say, cutthroat aspect to it, because if you start to go down the route of building if you start to go down the route of building up one of the mountains on the game, and then someone comes and stakes a claim on that and starts digging all your gold out, you're in like a quandary. You're like, do I continue to build this mountain as big as I can and then try and rake it all in one go, or do I finish it quickly, cap it, and take the money? Which might necessarily mean there's loads of dirt in there or something, and you made a bad decision. And it's almost got that really nice sort of feel to it that takes it to that next level. And I think it's one of those that the reason I don't like South Seas is I think it's too different from Carcassonne to be Carcassonne.
Yeah,
and I really don't like the whole way that you collect things and then you spend them for points.
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel like a Carcassonne game.
No, I know what you mean.
Whereas Carcassonne still is Carcassonne. It just has things like put on top of it.
Carcassonne.
Yeah,
it's Gold Rush is still Carcassonne. It's just got stuff stuck on top of it.
I'd like to play more of the expansions for normal Carcassonne and see how they work.
Yeah. Now we should say when we say Carcassonne, we mean River.
And then
do you mean Colts and Siege?
I would prefer to play this with just. Colts and Siege. I would prefer to play this with just the river and the basic tiles in it. I think because it just feels like a simple, nice and easy, quick game that you want to play. I think when you start to,
I don't think that's a very highly rated expansion.
No, but like Colts and Sieges are okay. I just don't think that.
Well, they're such a dated expansion. Like I don't feel like games expand like this anymore. Like
it feels like an expansion that was put in simply to provide more of a negative game effect.
Well,
whereas it being a negative and a positive, because the Colts war with the monsters.
Well, it just puts in a bit of spice, doesn't it? Like,
but I think it's like negative spice for the sake of it being negative.
Well, some people might want more conflict though.
Well, I guess so. But
I mean, really,
it's a Euro game. So.
All the Carcassonne add-ons do is, hey, you can play with this rule or this rule.
They are. It's
effectively
I think there are some that do a bit more, but I know what you mean.
There's like a castle one where you drop things through and stuff.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when it's an expansion, it's just, hey, there's this kind of cool rule that you can play with. You're going to need these tiles, but there's a new
Ultimately, you guys would rather buy a different Carcassonne than more expansions for Carcassonne.
No,
I'm happy with this one.
You're happy with that. I would like to try some of the other expansions for Carcassonne, see what they do.
Because saying that, I actually the Stone Age one's meant to be quite good. Carcassonne, the Stone Age one's meant to be pretty cool, like a different variant and stuff. But
right, so for you it's number 1 game. For you it was number something.
5.
Number many years ago.
4, 5.
It was number.
I mean, it was only yesterday when you recorded this.
Of course it was. Number 7.
Number 7.
Cool. So you would presumably play this most times.
Yeah. I'm always happy to play Carcassonne. It's nice.
It's one of those games that I would just constantly be like, yeah, I'll play Carcassonne.
See, because of the player count and the length, I think I would rather play. For some reason, I don't know why this is the first game that came to mind, but Hare and Tortoise, for me, feels that similar. Like Carcassonne feels like an after dinner mint. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to say, "Hey, let's spend the day playing Carcassonne," like you wouldn't say, "Hey, let's spend the day playing Hare and Tortoise." But I'd rather play Hare and Tortoise than Carcassonne. I don't know why that's an immediate.
I just think that this one just has it's like one of the things that I enjoy about playing board games is the fact that it's a relaxing experience. That's what I aim to get out of playing board games anyway. I like to feel like I'm relaxing playing games with my friends. So Carcassonne is just that in a box. You sit down, you play this for 40 half an hour, 40 minutes. Just enjoy playing board games. Yeah.